Well, what a day it is today. This is our first proper day on lockdown, and I've promised lots of people that I'm going to show them some new tips and tricks in Adobe. Today we're going to be looking at an online app called Adobe Color. Here you can create colours and save the palettes to your libraries. You can also extract themes from existing images and extract gradients, which is something new that I haven't tried. The first thing that we're going to do is try extracting a theme. I have downloaded some images, so we're going to go and select one of those now and import them into Adobe Color and see what it comes up with. So the first picture that I'm going to use is the cherry blossom picture, which I found on Google. And you can see that as I've put it in, it's automatically selected some of the colours from here. Each of these coloured circles represents one of the colours that's shown in the palette underneath. You can adjust the colours, so if you think it's not quite what you want, drag it around until you get something more to your liking. So I quite like that, so I'm going to stay there, pretty close to the original colour. On the right hand side you have the options for saving it. So at the top it shows you a small thumbnail about what your palette will look like. If you click this area here, you will see all of the different libraries that you have selected that are connected to your Adobe account. So you won't be able to do this if you don't have an Adobe account. Change the name up here. As you can see, the file name's quite long, so I'm just going to remove the end of it. And type in that I used no colour mood on this one. I don't want to publish it online because I'm just testing at the moment, so I'm going to switch that off. But if you did want to share it online in the public Adobe Color forum, then you could just leave that selected. So click Save and that will appear in your library. If you decided that you wanted to experiment with some of these different options, come over here and look at the Adobe Color Mood. Depending on the image that you've chosen, it can make quite a big difference. I think that one's a bit harsh, so I wouldn't select that one personally. But I quite like the darks, so I will add that to my theme. And at the end, I'm just going to put down dark, and that will help remind me. And click Save. Inside my theme you can see two that I experimented with earlier and the two that I've downloaded now. You can see more information about them by clicking on them, and it tells you the hex code, and you can download or copy in different formats depending on what you're going to be using your colours for. You can copy individual colours by simply clicking on the colour that you want, and you can match it up with Pantone if you're going to be doing any printing. The next thing that we're going to look at is the extracting gradient. So I'm going to click over here. It's using the same image, but you can select the number of gradient stops, and Adobe Color will automatically put in the best gradient that it thinks. Change the gradient stops to get some slightly different effects. These are really good for using in Adobe Illustrator. So again, we can see a small preview thumbnail up here, and I'm going to have it as Gradient Cherry Blossom. Again, I'm going to save it with a name at the end that reflects the changes that I selected. So I'm going to call it 8 Stop. Click Save, and that also will go into the library. Now, you might be wondering what you can do with these, so stay tuned for another lesson where I'll show you how to colorize an image in Adobe Illustrator.